eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Good morning. Good morning and good evening. How are we all, team? We have a very, very fun show that I have planned tonight. And I had a whole other thing planned for us tonight to talk about, and I ended up just scrapping it. And, you know, we'll talk, we'll hang out for a little bit. But for the most part, we're going to be working out what is the greatest conspiracy of all time. Now, we're going to go through what that means and what makes a good conspiracy. But this is going to be a lot of fun. So if any of you guys were here, when was it, like Wednesday, Thursday, we did we tested the Mandela effect live, and that was a lot of fun. I think this one's going to be even better. And we already have a lot of you guys in the chat here. Daniel Walmsley, Rob Stewart, Mr. T, Nicole, Ace of Hearts, Dan Garden, Adam, Mish, Jared. Oh, damn. Everyone's here. Contra is in the chat. Man, how good. I had a couple of days off, and I went on a safari. And that's not a metaphor. That's not, you know, like a funny joke. I actually went on a safari. So that was fun. If you want to see aliens, go look at like African animals. Like, dude, giraffes are like beautiful animals, and just like to be up close with an animal that big is just insane, and they're just amazing. Like, it's just crazy that there are things like that on this earth that share this planet with us, but you never see them because obviously most of us don't go to Africa. But when you do and you see them up close, it's just like, wow, life is extremely diverse. Jade Grayson is saying, has it started yet? Jade, just turn your monitor on. If you turn your monitor on, you should be good to go. G-Bay's just woken up in the nick of time. Giraffes are awesome. Their faces are so expressive and comical. Oh, it's awesome animals. Watching them feed. We also got up close with lions as well. If you guys are in the Discord, you probably saw. Yeah, that's it, Mick. We went down to Monado. We did this experience with the lions where you walk in this cage, and it's like a 360 cage, and the lions literally climb up onto the cage, and you can like feed them through the cage. It's pretty wild just to see cats that big with paws like the size of your face up close. And it's crazy because especially the male lions with their mane, like they look so cuddly. Like you just want to give them a cuddle, but they would rip your face off. But they look so cuddly. Did you hear Kanye's new song? I didn't, but I've seen what it's about. But I haven't listened to it. I'm not really, you know, it's not really my style of music. But yeah, it looks pretty controversial. Tamara, welcome. Is there any conspiracy theories surrounding giraffes? Like, why do they have such long necks? Was it a CIA psyop gone wrong? Look, I think the most logical explanation is that this was genetic experimentation gone wrong. And that was actually that was our prototype. That's what we were meant to be. And that's why you see people in these Zulu tribes in Africa with long necks. It's just a trial and error, how we got here. What's your style of music, Josh? Don't leave us hanging. Oh, what a broad question, Dan. What a broad question. I mean, it's such a cliche answer, but dude, I'll honestly listen to whatever I'm vibing, which could be anything between heavy music, like, you know, like hardcore heavy, or I do like electronic music, so like I like drum and bass. I don't mind hardstyle if I'm in the mood, but I also like a little bit of Aussie hip hop, a little bit, not too much. I can see you at a doof, yeah. Well, you may have seen me at a doof if you live in Sydney. If you go to doofs in Sydney, I may have seen me there. Look at the platypus, an experiment gone wrong, dude. Another. It's so interesting you say that because it was only a couple of days ago. Me and Chloe were looking at platypus videos. I don't know why, but what a crazy animal! It's literally like a mixture between, like a duck, a beaver, and kind of like a crocodile because they got that talon. It's crazy. Been down the rabbit hole about where cats come from. Weirdos have reptile eyes. They hiss like a snake and have fangs. Aussie hip hop sounds like niche, like French hip hop. I mean, yeah, I guess it is quite niche. I mean, it's hip hop. It's just hip hop, created by Australians. So it's kind of niche. If you know, you could just say it's hip hop, but made by Australians. Good morning, Greg. How are you, my man? Welcome to the live stream. Dino Beavers. Good morning from Somerville, Oregon, USA. People call my husband a platypus because of his name. Where are we at, guys? Where is everyone tuning in from today? We're going to get into the game shortly. Just going to let a few more people roll in. What it'll actually do is, while you guys are telling me where you are and what time it is, take a look at this. Just getting used to my stream deck. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to find my keys. But this is the greatest conspiracy of all time. Well, soon. We're going to be playing for the Tinfoil Cup today, and it's going to be a set of knockout rounds. This is like a round of 16 here, and we're going to be voting on the polls in a knockout style tournament on what the greatest conspiracy of all time actually is. And this is going to be done just using the poll system. We're probably going to run the polls for anywhere between maybe a minute or two. We'll see how it goes. But about that long. And we're just going to go through like a round robin knockout format until someone claims the cup right here. I don't know if anyone noticed that already, but the Tinfoil Cup is here on the desk, ready to be handed out to the winner. We've got people from Mish in the UK, Minnesota. A lot of people from the UK. I didn't realize that this was a good time for the UK, but it's like midday there. This is a great time for the UK. People from Adelaide. More people from SA, my hometown. Toronto. Charlotte, New South Wales. Man, we're all over. Kansas City, Perth, Victoria. Speaking of Perth, who's seen the new video? I uploaded a new video, I don't know, about 6 hours ago. Because there was that video from Perth where it looks like a UFO, because let's face it, it's unidentified, so let's just leave it at that. A UFO seems to be phasing in and out of the sky, of reality, of the world. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's very interesting. On the Reddit thread, people were claiming it's drones, which, as someone commented on the video, drones are the new weather balloon. Drones are the new swamp gas. Drones are the new Venus. Drones are the new Chinese lanterns, okay? They're just not. Some might be. But I know with my drone, even like when I put my drone up, once it gets up like 50 meters, it's like hard to see. Now, I have a mini, to be fair. I have a mini, DJI mini. But they're not that visible. They're not that, like, if for a drone to be as visible as that thing was in that video, it would have to be like a military drone. It'd have to be huge. Jared says, love the VFX analysis, left a comment about the commenters. I haven't had a good look at all the comments yet. I've been a little bit slack with the comments lately. I'll put my hand up and say that. I apologize. But that is purely because I've been in the groove of just actually making content. And I feel like, you know, I try to get back to you guys as much as I can. I'm very active in Discord. That's the best way to chat usually. But I feel like, yeah, I try to, if I'm in the vibe and I'm getting the content out, that's just time better spent. That wasn't a drone. Red lights are missing. Exactly, Rob. Exactly. You know, the fact that people were comparing it to that drone, and then you look at any picture or video of that drone that has red lights, it's like, okay, are we just suspending our belief for a moment, or what's going on with that? Don't let us distract you from your important work. No. You guys, it's not distracting at all. I do try and get to the comments. Little fun fact, usually when I reply to the comments, I'm sitting on the toilet, okay? Because that's comment reply time. I was looking at that video yesterday and the way it leaves the markings in the clouds. That's what I found really interesting about it, is that as soon as it disappears, you can still see its wake, if that's what you can call it. If you can call it a wake in the sky. And it almost like leaves a hole where it was, which is kind of crazy. Colorado's my favorite YouTube channel. David, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate the kind words. Treating us like shit. You could say that. You could say that. I wouldn't say that, though. I would never treat you guys like shit. Appreciate you guys a lot. Can't people manipulate the lights, disconnect them, or make them do other stuff? Oh, look, of course. You could definitely, you know, if you were like the ultimate troll, you could probably find some kind of like replica FAA lighting or some kind of weird lighting that behaves in a irregular way. And I'm sure there probably is like a 0.01% of people that do that. But in the grand scheme of things, the amount of people doing that would be dwarfed purely just by the amount of UFO sightings there are. So, you know, you can't, it can't apply to everything. The main chick talking about Epstein got unalived near Perth. I did see that. I did see that. Very sad, very strange. And, you know, the story seems to go that way a lot. We need to get more definitive yes or no's on the Ty bot, okay? So if you guys don't know, you can do ! Ask Ty a question, or ! Ask Ty, and then ask him a question, like you can see in the chat there. And he will tell you the future, but it needs a little bit of work. It's a work in progress. Love from Nova Scotia, brother. Keep up the good fight. Appreciate you, Caleb. Thanks for being here, man. All right. I reckon we should just about get going with this game. All right. So for anyone who's just tuned in here, this is our table. These are the matchups for the tournament. Doing the matchups in itself was hard because, you know, I wanted a fair fight. Okay. You know, you can't be putting things like 9/11 up against the Kandahar Giant. You know, these things, they're in different leagues, but you never know. We do see giant killings, pardon the pun, in sports. So we'll have to see. But these are the matchups, and I think we're going to take it from round 1 at the top left. We're going to work our way down the left-hand side of the tournament, and then we'll move our way down the right side, and then we'll get into the semifinals. UFOs Around the World is in here. Welcome, my man. Big name on TikTok. Great vids, Josh. Keep it up. Keep it lit, lad. Thanks, Daz. All right, team. Let's get started. We're going to kick off with round 1 here. So this is all going to be done in the polls. If you didn't play along, when was it? 3 or 4 days ago. This is how it's done. You don't type your answer. Okay, you don't type your answer. You click the answer in the poll. All right, the first poll is going up now. So get ready. You're only going to be able to vote for about a minute or so. Hope Adrenochrome is on the list. I thought about it. I think we might save that one for next time. I think what we'll do is we'll end up doing a Champions League, right? We'll run a few of these. We'll get a few winners, and then we'll put them all in together, and we'll have the Champions League of conspiracy theories. So, kicking off with round 1 here. Where are we? And guys, by the way, obviously I'm doing all of this live, so sometimes it might just take a little moment for me to find what I'm doing. We have 9/11 or Nazis and UFOs. So essentially 9/11 or, you know, the whole lore around Nazis and UFOs. And look, we'll let this one run a little bit longer. We'll let this one run a little bit longer while I sort of run you through how we're judging this. Ultimately, it's up to you guys, okay? Whichever conspiracy theory, just on face value, excites you a little bit more. Which one do you want to know more about? Or you can vote with which one you feel like has more weight. So which one do you feel like is there definitely truth to? I know it's a hard one for round 1. I know. And it's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. This is a tough one. I'm going to be very sad to see Nazis and UFOs go out early if that's what happens. because that is one of my all-time favorite conspiracy theories. No, it's got nothing to do with which one you'd want a video on. It's just which one you believe is a bigger conspiracy theory. Which one do you believe has more weight to it? Which one do you believe there is more truth to at the bottom of the rabbit hole? 9/11 or Nazis and the UFO connection? Kim, you do the magic 8 by typing ! Ask Ty, and then you space and ask him a question. No, I'm not influencing anything. I'm not influencing anything. We're going to leave this up for about another 20 seconds. Get your answers in, guys. We've got 120 viewers, but we only have 84 votes. There's a lot of people not having their say. Which is the greatest or the greater conspiracy theory? Heidi says, is 9/11 even a conspiracy at this point? That is a fantastic point, and to be honest, probably not. Probably not. All right, we are ending the polls there. You know, well, you would have seen on the table we have reptilians, but that's as far as I went with the alien stuff, right? If I didn't bother putting in anything sort of alien related because, as you said, it's not even a conspiracy at this point. Ancient Oz says, what are you trying? This is silly. So, mate, this is called a game. It's this crazy thing where you kind of have fun, maybe laugh and smile. You've probably never done it before, but you should try it. I really recommend you try it. You might find you enjoy life a little bit more. I'll leave it up to you. John Ward says, tough question. The only conspiracies are about those other realities. Man, I really didn't want to vote for 9/11. All right. So, a clear winner. I thought it was going to go that way, and I'm sad that we lose Nazis and UFOs in the first round, but let me just update the table over here. We have 9/11. It was a heavy favorite going in. We have 9/11 coming in here. Let's take a look at the table. So the next matchup, so you can sort of see here on the tables that I have, some of them are sectioned off into themes because there are sometimes multiple conspiracies around the same thing. And the next one is going to be the moon landing versus the moon itself. So you can see here on the left is, do you think the Apollo program, do you think the moon landing itself was a conspiracy? Or do you think the moon, do you think there's something more to the moon? You've probably heard that the moon rang when they crashed, I think one of the Apollo launch boosters into it, rang for like 3 hours. There are claims that the moon itself is like an artificial or an organic satellite. There are lots of conspiracy theories that the moon is not what we are told. And that is essentially what option 2 is. So we're going to call this one, what is a greater conspiracy theory? Moon landing or artificial moon? And this can stand for kind of anything related to the moon not being what we're told. The poll is up, guys. Get your votes in. We've got 133 viewers now. We want to see at least 100 votes on this one. What is a greater conspiracy theory? They went to the moon and won't go back for a reason. There's got to be a reason. There has got to be a reason why we have never gone back to the moon. Jesse Michaels' latest episode with Randall, good stuff regarding the moon. I'm looking forward to finishing that off, Dan. I started it this morning, but good old Jesse Michaels, he loves a good 3.5. I thought I did long videos. No. Jesse Michaels is on like a 3-hour average at the moment, and they take days to get through. So remember, you are voting via the polls on what you think there is more to. So at the moment, we've got the artificial moon leading at 71%. Meaning that 71% of you guys think the moon is not what we are told. New conspiracy, Shaggy's Adam's apple. Yeah, what Adam's apple? I don't know what you're talking about, Kat. right, we've got about another 15 seconds on this one. Get your last votes in, guys. We nearly got 100 votes. 70-30 split. I'm living for this right now. Thank you for putting together something fun. My pleasure, Happy Sparrow. It's nice to have a little break sometimes and just, you know, take a break from the wild, reality-shattering stories that a whole world is a lie, almost. Apparently. So the polls are in on that one, guys. Bit more of a clear-cut round. Let me just update the scoreboards over here. We have... I am a little bit surprised at that one, I must say. But I'm happy. I'm happy. I like that. I'm all about that one. So if we take a look at the tables now, we have the artificial moon. The moon is not what we are told. We'll be heading off against 9/11 in our first semi-final. So coming up next, we have Princess Diana versus the Pyramids. Princess Diana is a really interesting one. I think that's one that's... And if Maddie's still here, UFOs Around the World, he might be able to speak a little bit more to this as an Englishman himself. But I think the whole Princess Diana thing is... Like, to me, it's one of those things that is just like, there's obviously something sus about that. But it doesn't really get talked about much. I don't know why. Because it's one of those ones that just seems really obvious. Kind of like 9/11 to me. But maybe it was a little too early. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like as time went on, things would happen and people were just like, okay, this is obviously bullshit. This is obviously a conspiracy theory. That now it's like they can't get away with anything. They can't get away with anything now because people are just like, okay, you're up to something. What the fuck's going on? Whereas I feel like Diana was like pre 9/11. This is when like people still actually believed the government like cared for them and shit like that. So that's out the door now. So, but now I think we should look back and re-ask that question of what is a greater conspiracy theory. I'm really interested to see how this one goes. What is a greater conspiracy theory, Princess Diana or whoever built the pyramids? Who built the pyramids? Don't ask Zahi Hawass. No, in fact, actually ask Zahi Hawass. Get him on Joe Rogan and just let him talk. Just let him talk and he'll ruin his own reputation. You don't even need to say or do anything. Just get him on, let him talk, and people will be like, ah, this guy's an idiot. All right, team. The polls are up. What is a bigger conspiracy theory? Princess Diana or who built the pyramids? He's been on Joe Rogan. I know, Mish. I know. That's what I'm saying. He went on Joe Rogan and Joe just didn't even... He basically just needed to ask like an opening prompt. And then Zahi Hawass was just like, okay, let me ruin my own career. And off he went. Zahi built them. I agree. I think Mick is right. I think Zahi Hawass is probably responsible for building the pyramids. In fact, he's just as likely as the Egyptians. Yeah, you could tell Joe wasn't buying it. He was probably enjoying it, just watching this kind of meltdown happen in real time. Base my answer on the basis that we don't know who knows what the pyramids are, hence who is the conspiracy owner. Susie, you might be overthinking that one just a little bit. We just want to know, what is a greater conspiracy theory? The fact that we don't know who built the pyramids? Or the fact that what happened to Princess Diana didn't really seem like an accident given the sort of history around the situation? Protesting that I put these two together, not fair. I know. The matchups are tough. It was hard as the matchmaker to make these. All right, we have nearly got 100 votes in for this one. We are locking the polls off now. Another bit of a landslide victory here. You have decided, 83% of you have decided that whoever built the pyramids, whoever that might be, whenever that might have been, is a far bigger conspiracy, and the pyramids will be going through to the semi-final. And they're going to be facing off. Again, we've kind of grouped these together. We're going to be a couple of plane-related conspiracy theories for you. We're going to be looking at MH370 and chemtrails. Now, can I just say, and this is a bit of a rogue statement, but I'm going to say it. Does anyone else feel like chemtrails is a bit of a boomer conspiracy theory? I'm just going to let that question simmer, and I want to see what you guys have to say. Are chemtrails a boomer conspiracy theory? I'm dividing the audience here. Boomers say no. Yeah. Okay. Look, the reason why I say that, do I think chemtrails are real? Yes, I do think they're real. I do think there is weather modification, 100%. I do think I'm 100% over the fact that they spray things to modify weather. I think that's kind of like known. Whether people think cloud seeding and things like that were banned or not, I think they still do it. I don't think they care about what's banned. You know, at the end of the day, they set the rules. They can break them if they want. Do I think they're spraying things to like dumb people down? I don't know about that. I wouldn't be surprised, but that's a very deep, that's a really dark thought. If you really allow yourself to indulge in that, like that's scary. That we're all just sitting here while they just spray us and keep us like dumb. Like that's crazy. Not in a way of like that's too crazy to believe. Like if that's real, that's like scary and crazy. That's what I'm saying. But let's get this one into the polls. What is a greater conspiracy theory? MH370 or chemtrails? What is a greater conspiracy theory? MH370 or chemtrails? The polls are up. Boomers will be voting chemtrails. Under 30s will be voting MH370. I'm 33, by the way. I guess that makes me a boomer. What is the cutoff date for a boomer? Does anyone know? Can I get some statistics and hard facts in the chat? Alpha Draco is asserting that he is in fact not a boomer. I feel like you're lying. Hope you have COVID on the list. Absolutely, sir. Oh, MH370 is coming in hot. So remember, guys, you are voting. Remember, we are voting on which conspiracy theory you believe holds the most weight / which one excites you the most. You know, that's kind of your two categories that you're gauging your vote off. You aren't a boomer, Josh. You aren't gullible enough. Oh, shots fired in the chat. Boomers are 1945 to 1960. Oh, wow. There's probably a generation between me and boomers. Roger says they spray. I'm sure of it. Look, Roger, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to come up here and be like, chemtrails are real. They might be. But it's just one of those things that I can't prove it. So, like, that's one of the ones I'd rather stay a bit more, like, on the fence about. Gen X is, by the way... So, I'm pretty sure I'm Gen X, I think. No, I'm a millennial. I don't know. Guys, I'm born in 92. Help me out. What am I? Who am I? All right, we're going to lock this one off. We've got another overwhelming win here in round 4. What is a greater conspiracy theory? I'm glad MH370 got the W here. 80% of you agreed with that one. MH370 will be going into the second semi-final and will be facing off against who built the pyramids. That's going to be a spicy matchup. And then we're going to be moving over to the other side of the table now. So first up, we've got an interesting one here. We've got JFK versus the Kandahar Giant. Now, I feel like the Kandahar Giant is a bit of a niche conspiracy theory. I feel like there might even be some of you who don't know about this. Does anyone not know about the Kandahar Giant? Because I feel like if you don't, it's coming up against a pretty heavy hitter. Okay, pretty heavy hitter. So I feel like if there's a few people that don't know about this, I'll give you a quick rundown. MH370 would have the biggest effect on society if proven. Happy Sparrow, if it was proven, you know, the research that Ashton has done, if what he is discovering to be true, then absolutely. All right, seems like a few people don't know what the Kandahar Giant is. So the Kandahar Giant is kind of like I guess you could call it an urban legend within like US military circles. And I believe Kandahar, I want to get this right, Kandahar is a place in Afghanistan. Yes. Yeah, Kandahar is the founding city and spiritual center of the Taliban. Okay? So Kandahar is a place in Afghanistan where I don't know what year, probably early 2000s, that a group of US military, like special forces guys claimed they found a 12-foot tall, red-headed giant. Like, that's the end of the sentence, just giant. It's a red-headed giant, 12 foot. And it had like 6 fingers, and it was just like kind of a bit, you know, not normal looking, but still just a giant human. And they shot it, and I believe they killed it. And I think the story is that the US took the body. You know this story from Mr. Ballin? You know, I think that might even be the very first place I heard this story as well. It's a really interesting story, guys. You should check it out. Because there is so much to giants, I think, right? Not only this story, but, you know, there are so many old news articles you can go look at of giant remains found in like America, not even in like the Middle East. In America, giant bones have been found. And, you know, if we look at the pyramids, well, if you were 12 foot, it'd be way easier to build the pyramids. And apparently there's a story that US military saw them in the Middle East. There are giant bones found in America and other places around the world. Yep, Daniel Walmsley knows it. Tomb of Gilgamesh, Iraq invasion. Gilgamesh was a giant as well. You know, according to the lore, the story. So that's that conspiracy theory. I just wanted to give you guys a rundown because it's an interesting one, and I feel like not many people know, and it's coming up against a heavy hitter here. So, you know, I felt like it needed just a little bit of support. But what is a greater conspiracy theory? The Kandahar Giant or JFK? The poll is up. Get your votes in, team. The question is, why are they hiding giants? It's a great question, Kim. Remote viewers claim that they have seen giant humans working on the back of the moon, on the dark side of the moon. JFK was Bigfoot. Joshua Bartlett has just solved the mystery. I can confirm JFK was a giant. Get those votes in, guys. This one is a little bit closer. The underdog has come out swinging. The Kandahar Giant, who is ironically not the giant in this matchup. We've got over 100 votes on this one. It's going to take more for the Kandahar Giant to knock JFK off the perch. We are voting for what we think is the greatest conspiracy. JFK or the Kandahar Giant. Mr. T says that's a huge ranger. That is a 12-foot ranger. You wouldn't want to mess with a 12-foot ranger. All right, we are locking off the polls. The favorite coming through on that one, as expected. I did try and get a little push for the giant on that one, but it was always going to be, he was always up against it. And we see JFK going through to the semi-final. And this next one's going to be a big one too. Let's take a look at the tables. JFK through to the semis, through to the quarters, and that's going to be coming up against the winner of the next round, which is the Reptilians versus COVID-19. Now, when we say Reptilians, you can see there's like the pyramid and the Illuminati eye in the background there. What we're actually voting on here when we say Reptilians is, well, first of all, that they even exist. That kind of has to be the first part of it. But that they are also like a controlling force in the world. Think like David Icke. Think humanity under reptilian slavery from the shadows. That's kind of what we're voting on here. Okay, versus COVID-19. And when we talk about COVID-19, we're talking about not the fact that COVID-19 wasn't real. I think we all agree that it's real. But was there a hidden agenda behind it? Whether that it was population control, whether that was trying to put some kind of micro nanotechnology inside everyone for whatever reason. That's what we're voting on there. That there was an ulterior motive behind COVID-19. Let's put it to the polls. Is that clear on everyone? Lab leak. No. Not so much about the origins, but about the purpose. You know, was this just an accidental flu that got out of hand, or was it kind of intentionally released with an ulterior motive? So what was a greater conspiracy theory? COVID-19 or reptilians? The polls are up. I want to see some love for my reptiles here. We're in a deadlock. We are in a deadlock at 42 votes. We've got nearly 200 viewers. We need at least 100 votes on this one. This one is too important to not be voting on. They're using MH370 orbs to traffic people to the lizard people. It's a theory that could stand up in court. Reptiles for the win. Big up reptiles, lizard people. The reptilians are holding strong at 61%. We have over 100 votes. We're gonna see some love in the chat for Lacerda. And you know, guys, if we wind it back a little bit and we just get up to the part where we say reptilians are real, you know, you look back at almost all ancient cultures, all creation stories from different parts of the world, they literally all involve some kind of serpent being, some kind of like reptiloid. All of them. Aztecs, Mayans, Aboriginals. That's just to name 3. They are part of the Bible story. I'm gonna leave this one up for another 10 seconds, guys. If you haven't got your vote in, get it in now. What is a greater conspiracy theory, COVID-19 or reptilians? It's a close one, but I feel like the lizards are going to be coming away with the win here. Even the Garden of Eden had a snake. Exactly right, Jared. These things are everywhere. If we have, you know, I feel like the most solid anecdotal evidence for any alien species existing or having interacted with Earth, it is the reptilians. And they are the winner of the opening round there up against COVID-19. And they will be going through to the quarterfinal up against JFK. JFK takes on the lizard people. So we're going to be moving into our last two opening rounds now. So the first one, you probably can't tell what that one is. It is a shot from Back to the Future. And we are talking about time travel. So time travel is going to be going up against MK Ultra. An interesting one. I guess if you guys, when we're talking about time travel, the conspiracy there is it possible? Is it even possible for time travel to be real? Is what that question is. Versus MK Ultra. I mean, I think we all know that MK Ultra was real, but I guess that comes into it. That's part of it. But I guess also what kind of weight what kind of effect has the results of it had on modern society? So that is our second to last opening round. We have what is a greater conspiracy theory? Time travel. And you can see Marty McFly and Doc there. Versus MK Ultra. Let me flick this over here. There we go. Now we're on the right screen. What is a greater conspiracy theory? Time travel versus MK Ultra. And hold on. The poll is up. The poll is live. Round 7. Jared, I was thinking that myself. I've basically if I haven't got at least one sticker from this video, I will be shocked. But I feel like YouTube might be so confused as to what sticker to give me. I might not get any. Is MK Ultra even a conspiracy anymore? Look, I think you could say that about a lot of these. You could say that about a lot of these. These quarterfinals are looking spicy. Close one at the moment, guys. Got about 100 votes in. Nearly 200 people watching, though, as well. If you are watching and you're enjoying the game show, please give the video a like. It helps push us out and get more people involved. Remote viewing is the real time travel. Interesting. Very interesting. The one thing that I think about is when people are remote viewing, do they, when they're viewing something, let's say a location, does the remote viewer have some kind of physical manifestation in that space? Like, are they an orb? Like, is that what orbs are? I've kind of talked about this theory on the channel and we've talked about it in Discord a little bit. But I wonder if, like, these orbs that don't seem to be aggressive, but they seem to be like a reconnaissance thing, right? Like orbs, if they're anything, they seem like they are performing reconnaissance. So what is it? Like, what are the orbs? Well, I've thought maybe, seeing we know how much, like, psychic spies, we know psychic spies are used and are effective. Do they have a physical manifestation? It would kind of make sense that they did. Otherwise, they're viewing from nothing. Maybe invisible consciousness layer that we're all connected to. I don't know. But it's an interesting theory. We're going to be locking off the polls there. And with 59%, we have Marty McFly and the Doc going into the quarterfinal. And that is time travel. And we are coming up to our last opening round here. Yes, the Borbs. The Borbs. It's been a while since we talked Borbs. But it's always good to throw them in every now and then. Beth Noise says, I think the orbs could also be people dreaming when they're out of body. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, I think that and, you know, remote viewing, people projecting their consciousness, I feel like that's a really good explanation for what these things are. Because, I mean, what other explanation do we have? We literally don't have another explanation. And that is the only one I can think of that could logically and perhaps have some weight. Everything else is just like wild speculation about like aliens and non-human intelligence. Tataria isn't a bad one. So this isn't Tataria. I did consider putting that in, but I think I actually want to talk about that. I want to talk about that in another video. So we might talk about that first, and then maybe the next time we play this, we'll include a whole bunch of new ones. And like I said, we'll eventually have the Champions League of conspiracy theories. But we're kicking it into round 8 now. So this is flat Earth versus hollow Earth. Okay, so I think we're all quite familiar with what the flat Earth theory is. Both of them basically do what they say on the tin. But hollow Earth is that there's essentially another world deep inside our Earth. And, you know, with the wild cave systems, underground military bases, tunnels, all those kind of things, I don't think it's, to be honest, okay, like to just say this straight off the bat, I think it sounds like there would be more to it than flat Earth. Let's just put it that way. Now, the flat earthers might be coming after me for saying that, but that's just my opinion based on having done next to no research on it. The poll is up. This is our last opening round before we get into the quarterfinals. What is a greater conspiracy theory? Hollow Earth or flat Earth? And remember, we're voting based on what we feel like has more weight to it. What could have some substance at the end of the tunnel, at the end of the rabbit hole? Can Earth be both flat and hollow? No, I don't think it works like that, unfortunately. Get those votes in, guys. It's looking pretty clear at the moment. Only about 50% of people have voted. If you're enjoying this, guys, and you enjoy just kind of hanging out, having fun sometimes, you should join our Discord. The link is in the description of the video. We're kind of in there basically 24/7. It's always good morning in Discord. By the way, if you join Discord, doesn't matter what time it is, you say good morning. All right, we're going to give this one another 15 seconds, guys. Get your votes in if you haven't already. This is our last opening round before we move into the quarterfinals, and we've got some big matchups coming up. And we are closing off the polls on that one. And I'm glad we saw Hollow Earth go. Look, the Flat Earthers are absolutely in ruins. Flat Earthers are in shambles right now. I could tell, I just know they would be typing up an angry comment if we have any watching. But, you know, you know what? I feel like Flat Earth is a bit of a boomer conspiracy theory too, if I'm honest. I feel like Flat Earth, people who, if you believe in Flat Earth, you probably believe in like chemtrails and stuff too. I'm not saying either or are fake or right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the people who are into Flat Earth are the same kind of people who are into chemtrails. It's just like a weird little connection that I've made. All right, let's take a look at the tables. This is the end of the opening round. We have 8 contenders left. So our first matchup of the quarterfinals, we have 9/11 going up against the artificial moon theory. The fact or the idea that the moon is not what it appears to be. The fact that the moon could be maybe an alien satellite, maybe some kind of base to another species. The fact that there is something inside the moon. It apparently rang for 3 hours. It's an interesting one. Coming up after that, we have the pyramids. Who built the pyramids? Going up against MH370. That is going to be a tough matchup. Then we have JFK going up against the reptilians. That's going to be another tough battle. And finally, we have Marty McFly and Doc going up against the Hollow Earth theory. So let's get straight into the first quarterfinal. Actually, I need to make it, so just give me a moment. We have 9/11 coming up against the Hollow Moon. This is going to be an exciting one. We might let the finals run just a tiny bit longer, just to make sure we've got enough votes in here. Okay, so this is our first quarterfinal. It's a big matchup. Both of these contenders have been successful already. What is a greater conspiracy theory? 9/11, if I can spell this, or an artificial moon? Get your votes in on the polls. I think I spelled artificial wrong, but the show must go on. What is a greater conspiracy theory, 9/11 or the artificial moon? This is the quarterfinals. Bromac, thank you for the $10, my man. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Round Earth is a lie. Hot take there from Roger Franz. Thank you for the spell check, Hungry Helmet. Appreciate you. Wow. Wow. I am shocked. We have 103 votes in, and 65% of you think it is more likely that the moon is not what we are told versus the fact that 9/11 was an inside job. Wow. I thought 9/11 was a heavy, heavy contender coming into this whole competition, and we might be seeing it go out in the quarterfinal. We're going to let this run for another 20 seconds. We have over 200 viewers, but only 108 votes. That means 50% of you are on the fence. Or lazy. Or lazy. D says, can we get an interview with Zahi Hawass to debunk the winner? The moon is a projection of Earth's interior. I like it, Dan. I like you. I like the way you think. Hollow cheese moon. Well, apparently. We're going to be closing off the votes. 5 seconds. We've got 114 votes in right now. 63% of you agree with me that the moon is not what it seems. And I have to say, guys, I'm very, very surprised. But also, I'm happy. I'm happy because, you know, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I agree that 9/11 was an inside job. But the moon being not what it seems is just a little bit more zesty. It's a little bit more exciting. It gets my juices flowing just a bit more than 9/11, I have to say. So I'm excited about that one. That's going to be facing off in a semi-final against whoever comes out on top between the Pyramids and MH370. So let's get this matchup set up here. We have the Pyramids coming up against the mighty MH370. Speaking of MH370, guys, I have a video coming out tomorrow that is very interesting. And it's to do with MH370. And now, look, I'm not Ashton Forbes, but I've been following his work for a while. And I'm open to the fact of being wrong here, but I haven't seen anyone talk about what I'm going to talk about tomorrow in that space. And there might be reasons for that, which I understand, but I think there's something to it and it's very interesting. So I'm going to be doing that video tomorrow. It'll probably be out, I don't know, in like 18 hours or something like that. So let's get this one into the polls. What is a greater conspiracy theory? This is the second quarterfinal. What is a greater conspiracy theory? Who built the pyramids or MH370? Let's go. The polls are in. So guys, remember, you're voting based on what you think has something at the bottom of the rabbit hole. There's something to this conspiracy that you're voting for. We have 40 votes in, 60 votes in so far, and it's pretty tight. You can type your answer if you want. It just doesn't do anything. Zahi Hawass built the pyramids. If you listen to him, his Mimi book shilling tour on Rogan, yeah, Zahi Hawass undid himself without Joe even having to do anything. He basically just got him on, asked like a couple of questions, and just let Zahi Hawass expose himself as like the, let's just say gatekeeper. Okay, we don't need to say anything more than that. Let's just call him a gatekeeper. Wow, Pyramids are edging it at 108 total votes so far. Get them in, guys. Get them in. We've got about 20 seconds left on this one. The orbs built the pyramids. Look, I feel like I would trust a Borb to build a pyramid more than I would trust whatever Zahi Hawass has to say. Last couple of votes, guys. I think we have a clear-cut winner here, going up against the artificial moon. In the semi-final is going to be the pyramids with 62% of the votes. There we go. Let's take a look at the tables now. So the whole left-hand side of the bracket is done. Other than the semi-final itself, we're going to be seeing the artificial moon going up against the pyramids. And isn't that interesting? Like, both of those conspiracy theories are kind of both tied to the mystery in our history, right? People questioning, like, where we came from, how did we get here, who built these pyramids, what is this moon, what's on the moon, like, why haven't we ever gone back to it, why can't we rebuild these pyramids? It's so interesting that both of those matchups are kind of in the same realm. It kind of shows the line of thinking that we are most curious about, I think. But let's get on to the third quarterfinal, which is another big one. Another big one. We've got JFK conspiracy, coming up against a personal favorite of mine. Oh, I would say a personal favorite of ours, actually. I think everyone on this channel is a fan of the reptilians. We all love a good reptile story, don't we? The pyramids change our whole historical paradigm. Mystery in our history. Yes, that's it. There is a lot of it. There is a lot of it. And the crowd goes wild. Is there artificial intelligence inside the artificial moon? Well, John, I think if you've been following like the whole 4chan thing with the mobile construction unit, I think there might be artificial intelligence in our oceans. David Icke says, I love it. Pyramids win, I'm off to bed. Thanks, no worries, Drew. Hope you had a good time, mate. Take care. We love the reptilians. We do. We do love the reptilians. All right, let's get this one into the polls. What is a greater conspiracy theory? JFK or the lizard people? The polls are up. Get your votes in, guys. We have just over 200 people watching. Let's go for at least 125 votes on this one. Play your part. This matters. Your vote counts. And this is important. This is important. Even the trophy has reptilian skin already. Maybe that's where the term tinfoil comes from. Wow, a landslide so far in the quarterfinal. I feel like the lizard people could be a strong contender here. Let's be honest, we all know JFK was an inside job. I agree. I think JFK probably falls in the realm of people are just like, it's so obvious, it's not even interesting. Which is why I didn't just put like a general, like, aliens are real. It's like, yeah, we know it's not really exciting anymore. Yeah, we know UFOs are real. That's not that exciting either. By the way, guys, it's kind of been tradition on every live stream that we've done that we go and watch a couple of episodes of the X-Files in Discord after this. Last time we had like 20 people watching. It was awesome. So we're going to be watching Season 1, Episode 5. It's still early days, so if you're interested in watching the X-Files, come and join our Discord. The link is below. And we'll be throwing up an episode or two of that after the stream. Josh, how are you? I'm really good, thanks, Ray. Thank you for asking, man. How are you? All right. We don't need to let that one run any longer. That was an absolute landslide whitewash in the quarterfinal. And we see the Reptilians move up the table and into the semi-final. And they are going to be coming up against either Time Travel or Hollow Earth. And interestingly there, if the Reptilians are real, it's basically said that, you know, they live inside the Earth. They live in the Hollow Earth. That's part of their lore, is that's where they are, inside the Earth. So it'll be very interesting who we see take the win here in the fourth and final quarterfinal before we move into the semis. So we have Time Travel, Doc and Marty McFly going back to the future, coming up against the Hollow Earth theory. And let me just chuck these in here. All right, there we go. I'll move these up. Let's put these into the polls. Time travel, is it real? Remember, if time travel is real, if time travel ever got invented in the future, in 100,000, a million years, once it's invented, it can be here right now because it's real. You can time travel. You can go wherever you want. That's the crazy thing about it. Time travel, Hollow Earth. Which one is a greater conspiracy theory? The polls are up. Get your votes in. And guys, if you're enjoying the game show, please give the video a like. I really like doing these interactive streams. I think they're a lot of fun. It's something that I would like to try and do once a week. I still want to do normal live streams as well, but these are really fun. I have to say, these are a lot of fun. And obviously all the normal videos will be coming, you know, every other day. Oh, we are this is a deadlock. Guys, if you are the 100 odd people that haven't been voting, we need you now. We need you guys to vote on this one. Because this is literally a 50-50 with 100 votes in. And there has consistently been about 100 people who aren't voting. We are calling on you. Get into the polls and vote and break us out of this deadlock. What is a greater conspiracy theory? Time travel or Hollow Earth? We are literally at 50-50, guys. We need people to vote on this. If this stays at 50-50, I actually don't know what to do because I didn't plan for that. $10 from Brad Hillman. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you. Was there a message with that? Let me have a look here. Brad, if there was a message with that, I apologize, mate. I can't see it, but I appreciate the $10, man. Thank you. Okay, we actually have a tie here. I'm not ending the polls because there are still like 60... No, there are like 80 people who haven't voted. So, one more time, I'm just going to say, please vote. Let me have a look here, actually. Yeah, it literally is stuck. Oh, we just had a bit of movement. We just flipped. We have time travel at 51%. I'm going to leave this up for another 20 seconds, guys. We have 125 votes, 205 viewers. This is your last chance to get involved and change the fate of this competition. Time travel at 51%, 8 seconds left, 52%. It's pulling ahead late. It is pulling ahead late, and I think we have a clear winner now. Time travel will be going into the semi-final up against the Reptilians for a spot in the grand final. That was an absolute nail-biter. We had 127 votes. I think that was the most voted on round that we've had so far. And we had another $10 in there from Nicole Bordeaux. That was the tiebreaker. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate your ongoing support. One of the supporters from day one. I appreciate you. All right. So this is how the table is looking now. We've only got 3 rounds to go. We're nearly there. This is it. Oh, I got that wrong. We have There we go. This is how we are looking moving into the semifinals. The hollow/artificial moon will be coming up against the pyramids, which is just that in itself is exciting. And then we're coming over to the other side of the table where the reptilians will be coming up against time travel. It's going to be an interesting one. What are you guys thinking? Out of those four, are we feeling any clear favorites? Who are we rooting for? Who are we rooting for out of all of those to win the tinfoil cup? 51% versus 48%. Math ain't mathin'. Yeah, Dan, it does that sometimes. Quite often, there is 1% missing. Happens all the time. I don't know why or what it means, but it is strange. Pyramids for sure. Time travel. 9/11 by far. Christopher, you must be, about half an hour behind on the stream. 9/11 didn't make it out of the quarters, unfortunately. I'm sorry to break it to you, but they're out. Pyramids. Best one's already gone. Pyramids. Okay. Look, sounding like the pyramids are a heavy favorite. Let's see how they go. I reckon we should just kick off this big semi-final. This is the semi-final known as the mystery in our history. What is a greater conspiracy theory? The artificial moon or the pyramids? The poll is up. This is our first semi-final, the mystery of our history. What is a greater conspiracy theory? The artificial... Apparently I didn't write moon. I apologize. The artificial or the pyramids? Get your votes in. What is a greater conspiracy theory? Which conspiracy has more weight to it? That something other than humans built these pyramids, or that the moon is not what we are told it is? Lizard people on the moon that built the pyramids when they time traveled. Now we're talking, okay? Now the show is warmed up and we're speaking my language. Artificial pyramids. I don't think the picture has changed. Thank you, Chloe. The picture has not changed. And that's because I haven't made it. Get your votes in. We are voting on the pyramids right here. And the artificial moon. It's a bit of a rush job, but you get that. You get that in the big jobs. Semi-final number 1. We're going to let this run for about another minute, although we do seem to have a bit of a clear winner here. The pyramids at 65%. The pyramids are Earth's power stations. I feel like you could make the same argument for the moon. Although I would tend to agree that the pyramids do seem like they are some giant organic kind of battery. The ancient Greeks talk about the days before the moon appeared in the sky. I have heard that. And it's funny how, like, when you hear things like that we just sort of like immediately default to like, oh yeah, they're just people in the old days. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, it's just the most wild, arrogant, like, approach that we just seem to like default to. Oh yeah. Like the Aboriginals, when they talk about the dream time, most people are just like, oh yeah, it's probably just some silly story. Anyway, when does the football start? The moons keep the waves on Earth at peace. Yeah, the moon has, well, so we're told. Everything is a conspiracy theory. The moon has a dramatic impact on it controls the current of the oceans. All right, we are locking off those polls. We were open for 2 minutes there. I think we can say that we got quite a lot of data on that one, and the jury is in. The pyramids will be going through to the grand final. Can we get a round of applause for the pyramids? A very strong contender. And we're going to be moving into the straight into the second semi-final, which is the reptilians. Where are they? Reptilians going up against the time travelers, Marty McFly and Doc. There we go. This is for a place in the final against the pyramids. Moana comes in with the $2 message, no life on Earth without the moon and tides. It's very, very true. I wonder if the pyramids weren't here, if that would somehow have an effect on life on Earth. Not necessarily directly, but maybe in some kind of indirect way. I guess the same way the moon allegedly has an effect on Earth as well. All right, so here's the table. Pyramids waiting for their contender. It's between the reptilians and time travel. So let's find out what is a greater conspiracy theory. You know who I'm voting for. Well, I don't actually vote, by the way. I don't vote in these. I just make the polls. But you know who I'm rooting for. What is a greater conspiracy theory? The reptilians or time travel? The poll is up. Get your votes in. This is our second to last round. The last semi-final. For a place up against the pyramids. Get your votes in. Wow. The reptilians are wiping the floor with the time travelers right now. A lot of people believing in the lizards. Benjamin Nelson is confused. He doesn't understand what is a greater conspiracy theory, the reptilians or the pyramids. Let me try and break it down for you. Basically, we're trying to work out which one of those two has more substance to them, to there being something to it at the bottom of the rabbit hole. So, who built the pyramids? I don't think it was humans. Maybe it was something else. Or reptilians. Because that's who it's looking like is going to be in the final. Do you believe in them? It shows rep versus time travel on my side. No idea why. I'm not sure what you mean by that. It is reptilians versus time travel. Katy Perry versus Professor Brown. I'm not sure what game you're playing, but that is not this competition. NHI built the pyramids, potentially. We're giving... Look, this one is a pretty clear cut. We've got a lot of votes. But for a last push, I'm going to give it 10 seconds. We can get any last votes in, but I think it's pretty clear. It's going to be the pyramids going up against the reptilians in the grand final for the greatest conspiracy of all time with 72% of the votes. Let me just throw that in right here and make it a little bit bigger for you. That is our final table. Who built the pyramids? Are reptilians real? Are reptilians controlling society from the shadows? That is what you guys believe are the two greatest conspiracies of all time. And now we are going to work out which is the ultimate. And like some of you have already said there in the chat, isn't it interesting that on the back of that picture of the reptilians, we can see a pyramid? Is there something to that? Is there something to the fact that reptilians that allegedly may live inside a hollow earth that have these weird kind of ties to the Illuminati may have actually built the pyramids themselves? Is all of this connected? We're about to find out. This is the grand final for the greatest conspiracy of all time. And remember, this won't be the last time we do this. We'll run this again with maybe a few other contenders. We may even see some of these strong contestants come back for another round with a few other contestants. And eventually, we may have the Champions League of conspiracy theories. But for the grand final, the last poll of the night, we want to know what is a greater conspiracy theory, the greatest conspiracy theory of them all. Who built the pyramids? Or reptilians. This is it, guys. Last one of the night. Get your votes in. Again, just over 200 watching. We want to see a good percentage of votes. We want this to be an accurate and fair assessment. And straight off the bat, we are in a deadlock. I can see this is going to need votes. We are going to need those fence sitters to hop off the fence, get into the polls, and vote. Zelda says, how do I vote? You click the answer that you think is a greater conspiracy theory. Alpha Draco's in the chat. Can anyone guess who he's voting for? %54% believe that the Who Built the Pyramids is the greatest conspiracy of all time. We're letting this one run all the way down. You've got a minute and a half. Can we get a bit more love for the reptilians? The irony in this is that the people who are voting for Who Built the Pyramids may not even realize that the answer to that question is the other option. Think about it. You want to know who built the pyramids? It could just literally be the other answer just below it. You just missed it with your mouse. Think about that. Reptiles are in every creation story, every religious text. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but they are everywhere. Adam and Eve, Quetzalcoatl, the Dreamtime, the Naga, the dinosaurs. 15 seconds left. What is the greatest conspiracy theory of all time? Who built the pyramids or reptilians existing on Earth? And that is the end of that, guys, with 127 votes on that one. The greatest conspiracy theory of all time is, in fact, us wanting to know who built the pyramids. Can we please see some Polarity loves, Polarity hearts, and just a whole bunch of emojis in the chat to congratulate yourselves for working this out. It was a deep one. It was a deep rabbit hole. A lot of back and forths, a lot of unexpected wins, a lot of favorites got knocked out early as well, which I was surprised about. And I didn't expect, honestly, I'm glad, but I didn't expect the reptilians to make it so far. But I'm very glad that they did because it is a personal favorite of mine. But guys, the tinfoil cup will be going home to whoever built the pyramids. I guess we don't actually know who's going to be taking this prize home. That's the mystery. That's the conspiracy theory. But guys, I hope you enjoyed that stream. I put out a new video today. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and check it out. It's about a UFO that got spotted over Perth. And then I just kind of ended up going into a little bit of a ramble, as I do. But it's good stuff. Go and check it out. It's only a short video. I've got another video coming out tomorrow that's going to be on MH370. Interesting stuff that I haven't seen anyone else talk about, so keep an eye out for that. And as I said earlier, jump in our Discord, like right now. Get in Discord because I'm going to go stream Season 1, Episode 5, maybe 6 as well, maybe 7 as well. We'll see, of the X-Files. So come and hang out in Discord. We'll keep the fun going there. And I think there was one other thing that I wanted to say to you guys, and it's escaping me right now. Jared says, real upset for the space Nazis though. Jared, brother, so am I. To see Nazis and UFOs, one of my favorite conspiracy theories, go out so early was heartbreaking. I have to say it was heartbreaking. But like I said, this isn't the last time we'll do this. Get in Discord and give me your suggestions. Okay, maybe we'll open up a channel and we'll get some suggestions together for who can contend in the next game. And we'll try and get some old favorites back in to have another go. And we'll definitely see the Nazis and their UFOs in there as well. So guys, thank you again for coming and hanging out. I had a lot of fun. I love the game shows. I hope you guys love them too. If you have ideas for games, by the way, or things you think could be fun, let me know. I'm all about it. I think this stuff is important because when we're talking about aliens, UFOs, and reality just being a lie every day, it can get a little heavy, it can get a little deep. We don't always need to be indulging in that so much, okay? It's all about balance, right? Be good, be kind, get outside, touch grass. I'll see you guys soon.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.